Lekeisha, Lekeisha, Mosley Show, the Lekeisha, 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 Mosley Show, the Lekeisha, 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 Mosley Show. And they talk about nothing but the unseen and unspoken issues while providing encouragement and love and understanding. She talks about issues that people in high places and influences are afraid to discuss publicly. Stay tuned. It's about to get real live. And you're tuned in to the Lekeisha Mosley Show.
Yes. Hello. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Lekeisha with the Lekeisha Mosley Show. And I'm so excited to be here with you this Monday evening. It's beautiful outside. The weather is really fun. I mean, it's winter. It's almost that time for transition when school starts. It's like, wow, you're getting ready for all of that. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm excited about talking about you, talking about everything that's all about you. Tonight we have a really amazing topic tonight. We're beginning to evolve, tell a new story. I'm having an amazing special guest that's going to help me talk about this and to begin to talk about all of the projects and all of the amazing gifts that God has before him tonight. I have the amazing author, a very young spirit that just literally is allowing God to use him within his life. And he has an amazing book. He's an amazing creative as well, too. Definitely someone that you need to you connect. I have the amazing author, Nelson E. Brown, in the studio. Nelson, are you with me?
I'm here. How are you?
Okay, awesome. I was making sure that I got you and I got you timed in. I'm glad that we were able to connect with you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, awesome. Listen, I'm excited to have you on the Lekeisha Mosley Show for sure. Definitely, this is an amazing opportunity for us to dive into everything that's all about you, all of the projects that you have, because you have some amazing, innovative things going on, and truly I'm excited to talk about it. It was a pleasure meeting you for the first time at the amazing world-renowned Newsom Awards, and just to have you on the show to talk about everything that God is doing within your life is just a pleasure for me. So before we dive into our topic, I want to know, everything about you, to let us know just a little bit more details, because I know a little bit about you, but I want to know a little bit more, and I know the studio audience wants to know more too.
Oh, well, and thank you. I would like to thank you for having me on your show and on your podcast. This is definitely a blessing. I've been able to network with so many different people, so many amazing people in different fields of business and entertainment, so I really thank you for that. And I wanted to start off by saying that, I'm only 20 years old. I just turned 20 this past May. But in addition to being an author of The Beauty in Us, Our Reality, that was released last year, and in addition to winning all of my awards for my academic achievements and all of my community service, I'm a science student at the Community College of Baltimore County in Catonsville, Maryland. I am employed at the Maryland Department of the Environment, and I'm a small groups facilitator at the Messiah Community Church. So at the Maryland Department of the Environment, I evaluate cases that involve all of the children in the state of Maryland that have been exposed to lead poisoning and prevention. I'm a part of that program, and we evaluate cases about that in all 24 jurisdictions in the state of Maryland. And as a small groups facilitator at my church, at the Messiah Community Church, I conduct Bible study lessons with my co-facilitator. We dig deep into the Word of God. It's similar to a Bible study, and we dive into different passages and into different scriptures, and then we discuss them amongst our group. I facilitate groups with. I facilitate our group. I completed the training this past spring, and I facilitated a group. I'm going to be facilitating the same group again this fall with married couples and individuals. And I also have two more books that are a part of the Beauty in Us book series in the works, The Beauty in Us, Vulnerable Masculinity, and The Beauty in Us, Our Love Our Village, and I also have a T-shirt line coming out. So I definitely have a lot of things that are going on at once, but I definitely have a lot of support. I have a great team of people. It's been great. Sometimes it's hard for me to believe that I've accomplished so much and that I'm so innovative as I am. But I'm thankful for that at the same time.
Wow. Well, I'm thankful to hear about everything that God is doing in your life, and just He's not done yet, definitely. So I'm truly excited about just talking about everything that He's doing currently right now. Can you tell me a little bit about your book, The Beauty in Us, because I know it's deeper than just this topic. Tell me about how it evolved. What came about for you to begin to document just this amazing creation?
Well, I actually I started writing my first book, and like I said before, my first book was released last summer around this time. And I actually started writing this book after I graduated from high school in 2017. I started writing this book the month after I graduated from high school, and I wanted to create a book series entitled The Beauty in Us because I noticed that in the media there were no males or young boys that were very open and transparent about their struggles with their self-image in the same manner that females do. I mean, we see all in the media that, there are a lot of females, a lot of women and young girls that discuss, their struggles with their self-image and with their bodies and with self-acceptance, but you don't see any men. You rarely see men or boys discussing that and being transparent about that and being open about that and vulnerable. So I decided to pave my own way and do my own thing by establishing a brand and a book series and a business of some sort, if you can say, entitled The Beauty in Us. So the book series is about creating healthy self-images for men. And it also gives ladies a chance to explore what males are insecure about and what their vulnerabilities are. So that's what I decided to do with the book series. But with the T-shirt line that I'm launching this fall and in the early winter of next year, that's my way of venturing out and doing something outside the books. And in addition to that, I would like to start a coaching business and a radio show as well, because I'm thinking of all of the ways that I can, use my ministry and use my testimonies and use all of my personal struggles with self-image and self-acceptance, how I can reach other young men and other boys. And it's really important to me because I feel like, it's very, very challenging. It's very, very difficult for men to be vulnerable, especially in the public eye and especially around other men, because society sends direct and indirect, messages that, we have to be tough and that we have to suppress our feelings and that our feelings don't matter on the inside. So that's what I'm trying to combat. And for me, being a young black man and a young black male, I think that it's definitely important for us to reinforce more positive self-images, and we need to uplift each other more. You see all the time in the media where, young black males are, ridiculed and belittled on a daily basis, and you see a lot of negativity in the news. And with my book series and with my brand and with what my work is all about, it gives me an opportunity to minister to others and to be that voice and to be that outlet. So that's what I'm really proud of, and I'm very thankful and blessed to have had the opportunity to attend the Newsom Awards and to win my first Author of the Year award at only 20, releasing my first book at 19, starting my job at MDE at the Maryland Department of the Environment at 17, and now I'm about to launch this T-shirt line, and it's a lot, but it's a lot of great stuff, and I'm definitely proud of that. I'm becoming a small group facilitator this past spring. It's definitely been a lot, but there's been a lot of great things. And I can see that all of my blood, sweat, and tears that I put into making this ministry, into making my work flourish, I can see that happening right now.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow, everyone, this is amazing. Truly, if you are just now tuning in, we are talking to author Nelson E. Brown, and he created the amazing book, The Beauty in Us. vulnerable masculinity. And I truly, truly enjoy talking to you right now, Nelson. Definitely, everyone, if you haven't tuned in and haven't looked up his copy of his amazing creation, you definitely need to on all social media panels. Definitely, he is definitely a great man to follow, because God is really not done with you yet. I really just see this is just the beginning, Nelson, just what God has for you, and just to literally tap into the entrepreneur spirit, within you, is just really allowing God to evolve and really show himself big in your life. I really feel like, our mission is to make Jesus famous, and in everything that we do. And I feel like that's what he's doing within you. Definitely at your age, and definitely just being a young man of color, it's very important for us to really make that known, just how good that is, because a lot of young men, you're right, do have a cliche, do have a stigma, that, they're not going anywhere, they're bad, they're, a statistic, they're just doing drugs, they're just, gang banging, they're just doing things. It's such a huge, horrible stigma. And a lot of times, most people are a product of their environment, and being a product of your environment is really hard. Tell me about that, how that stigma has, really been in your life, and how it's created some type of dysfunction.
Well, I was always, a good student in school. I was very productive. I was always, I never got into any trouble. I never used drugs. I never drunk. I never smoked. I stayed out of trouble. So I'm very blessed and thankful that I stayed out of trouble. And I'm thankful for the fact that, I never have to, I don't know what it's like to be addicted to drugs or alcohol. Unfortunately, I do know a lot of people who are, and I hear stories all the time of, young men that fall victim to the substance abuse lifestyle, into, gangs, into just negative peer pressure. I'm thankful that I never had to endure that. But I would like to say that, I did grow up with one parent. I grew up, with my mom. She was a single mom, and I grew up in a single parent household with the absence of my father. So, and a lot of people have a lot of stigmas about that as well, I feel like. And I'm also a big supporter for single moms and sons and single moms and children. And a lot of people, unfortunately, believe that, people who are raised in single-parent households, a lot of people feel like, they're doomed. That's not true, but a lot of people feel like, in order to be successful and in order to be the best person that you can be, you have to have both parents in your life. And especially now, because I've achieved so much and I've made so many accomplishments, and I'm still making more accomplishments, and I'm still breaking barriers. A lot of people have a tendency to, want to jump on the bandwagon, and they want to be a part of your success to make themselves look great. And a lot of people have been, telling my mom, you need to let him grow up and be a man. You need to let him do this. You need to let him do that. But, I honestly feel like, she's done a great job. And unfortunately, I received some flack after a recent interview that I've done about absent fathers. I'm a huge supporter of single mothers raising children. I'm a huge supporter of single moms raising sons, because I grew up as a son, and I was raised by a single mother. So I definitely use that in my ministry, and I definitely take that to heart, because I feel like single moms don't get enough credit for all of what they have to endure and for all of what they have to sacrifice in order to ensure that their children have a future, and in order to ensure that they have a great education, a great career, and a great life. So that's why I'm really passionate about that in my ministry as well. And I use that, and that's all a part of the self-image, the concept of developing a healthy self-image and to reaching self-acceptance. And I'm just, being that role model and being that example of hope to just show people that, you can be raised in a single-parent household and still be a great person. You can handle adversity no matter what people decide to throw at you, no matter what your peers or what people in leadership positions say about you that may not be great. You can achieve great things as long as you work hard and stay dedicated and focused.
That's amazing. Your perspective is so right on. It's so genuine. It's so real. A lot of times we don't understand that perspective because we try to reiterate it. But if we haven't lived it, we can't say it as powerful as you just did. And I totally just admire you for that, because you were just bold about speaking your life and who you are. And that's success in that. There's success in that. Everyone, if you're just now tuning in, we're talking to the amazing author, totally transformational, Nelson E. Brown. He just won the Author of the Year award up at the amazing Newsom Awards. And I truly had the opportunity to meet him, and I'm so honored to have him on the Lekeisha Mosley Show tonight. We're talking about his amazing creation of beauty in us, and a lot of times, we don't know the beauty in us. We just know it from what others may tell us. But I believe Nelson found the beauty within himself, and he really has a platform now to really express it. I'm truly honored to interview you, Nelson. Nelson, tell me about, our topic tonight is called Tell a New Story. And my God, this was so Holy Spirit, because honestly, tell a new story. I had no idea how this was going to turn out. I never know how it's going to turn out when God works. I just, transparent and open and obedient, in what he tells me to have the topic tied to my guests. And it always works out every time. And you literally are speaking everything that this topic is all about. You told us how it felt to tell a new story within your life, within your community, family, and your workplace. I mean, literally, you're just speaking each point that is really on this topic. Can you tell me just how, when you began to see how you couldn't go back and you could only go forward, what was the segment in your life where you realized you couldn't go back to what others were doing, in your life? Mind you, you are 20 years old. You have an amazing career. You have an amazing platform. You have an amazing business starting. When did you realize you couldn't go back to not knowing how good you were and how you can do anything, and, how you have to move forward and really just receive what God has for you?
Well, growing up, I definitely felt as though I faced a lot of opposition in school, because even though I did have educators that were supportive and that were very understanding, and people who were educators that I developed like a really strong rapport with, and I've had a handful of educators that were great, I faced a lot of opposition because I felt like a lot of educators and other people in leadership positions, and even some of my peers, a lot of them doubted me, and a lot of people underestimated my ability to do great things, and that really took its toll on my self-esteem as well. And in addition to that, I struggled with my weight problems, growing up, and especially, later on in elementary school and middle school and earlier on in high school. But after adapting to a healthier and happier lifestyle by losing weight and by dieting and exercising, I noticed that, in order to develop a healthy self-image, it starts with you. And a self-image, that topic, it doesn't always have to deal with looks, and it's not always about looks. When you have a poor self-image or when you don't have great self-esteem, you think about the way that people treat you. You think about the flaws that people point out to you and about you, and you have a tendency to think that a lot of things are ugly about yourself. And like I said, it doesn't have to necessarily be about your looks. That sometimes people, may mistreat you or may judge you because of something that is actually different or actually special. And I felt like I fell in that category growing up. And I definitely feel as though it's important for you to have great mentors and have people in your life that are willing to motivate you. But I also think that after I adapted to a healthy and happier lifestyle, it transcended into my emotional health and into my psychological well-being. So I was able to be okay with myself. I was satisfied with who I was after a while. But a lot of people seek validation from others, and they expect everyone else to make them happy and to make them feel great about themselves, but it actually has to start with you. And your happiness is your happiness. And once you feel comfortable with who you are you're able to treat people, with more respect and with more love. Once you start loving yourself, it's easier to love someone else. And I definitely learned that along the way. And I learned how to stop seeking validation through my academic achievements and progress. And because I felt so insecure about my physical appearance, I felt like I always had to validate myself through all of my academic achievements, or all of my achievements in general. And I learned that, with God's love and with His security and affirmation and with His word, that, I'm fine just the way that I am. I learned that along the way too. And I definitely learned how to, localize my needs and how to stick to what I want. I learned that, sometimes being what everybody wants you to be, and, being sweet to everyone all the time, and catering to everybody all the time, and just being nice to everyone all the time, it gets you into a lot of trouble. And a lot of people, people like that, they want you to be what they want you to be because they benefit from it, or because it makes them feel comfortable, but not because it serves you well. And I was able to grow out of that, and just a lot of youthful insecurities, and I'm still working on myself. Sometimes I still beat myself up, and I still kick myself in the butt, and I still have that perfectionist, energy, that perfectionist spirit, but I'm definitely working on that. I'll be 21 next year, so I'm trying to break a lot of those youthful insecurities. The rest of them, I've broken a lot of them already.
Wow, that's amazing that you really began to be aware of it and talk about it, because a lot of times, believe it or not, most adults decades older than you have not really acknowledged or taken responsibility of of their insecurities and things that they have. And you're open about it, which allows God to really heal you and renew you. Gosh, I talk about this all the time. A lot of times when we take our own responsibility for everything in our lives, no one's saying that you have to beat yourself up, but take a responsibility just for, all your feelings, just things that's happening, and really just giving it all to God. He's able to really cleanse you cleanse you clean. He's just waiting on you to allow Him to go in, but he's a gentleman. He's not going to, invade Himself in your life, and I'm transparent on my show. I was like that too. I was just like, well, I'm not going to be honest about that. I'm not going to do that. Well, God's like, well, I love you so much, but I'm not going to press myself on you. I'm not going to tell you the things that I see. But when you're able to, acknowledge what you see, I can show you the true you for you to see. You know what I'm saying? And
I understand.
That's real, right? That's real. I said, okay, God, that shut me down. And when I acknowledged that, that's when He was able to do a new in my life. And I feel like He's doing a new in your life too. And He's doing that within your books and in your projects. Tell me now, you said that you are going, you're ministering, or you're ministering, you're speaking to youth, to young people. I just feel like you were talking about more so like coaching and more so of like being, a speaker as well too. Tell me about what you inspire and doing within the next year or so, because definitely we want to stay connected with you, because what you have going on is truly, truly awesome.
Well, thank you. Well, I actually, a year from now, I told you guys that I'm working on a T-shirt line. The T-shirt line is called Black Prince Magic, and it's supposed to celebrate the accomplishments of young Black men. So I have a T-shirt line that will be released later on this fall, with hoodies in January to kick off the winter. And in addition to the T-shirt line, I'll be releasing my second book, The Beauty in Us, Vulnerable Masculinity. The Beauty in Us, Our Reality, has already been released. It's available on Amazon in a paperback and ebook format, so all of the listeners can check it out. They can buy a paperback copy or read it as an ebook for Kindle. So the Vulnerable Masculinity edition of the Beauty in Us book series, it's going to be a book of poetry this time, and it's going to dive into topics related to spiritual growth, unity, independence, forgiveness, and different components of mental health. And talks about many of the struggles that young men have in their teens and in their early 20s, because in your early 20s, you're still trying to figure out who you are, and you're still trying to find yourself, and you're still trying to figure out what you want. And you know what you want, but sometimes it's very difficult to understand how to and learn how to, navigate through all of the obstacles in order to get to where you want to go in life. And a lot of the childhood scars begin to surface in a man's late teens and early 20s. And I just talk about that in the second edition of the book. And it takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable, especially for men, because men have a very difficult time with, being vulnerable, especially in front of other men. So I just talk about many of the things that, men in their late teens and early 20s go through, with growing up and, trying to become a young adult and trying to find their place in the world with all of the distractions and with all of the false personas and stereotypes. So that's what I plan on doing in the next year. And I'm in the process of transferring to the four-year college, UMBC, the University of Maryland in Baltimore County, to major in science and to have a minor in business. So I definitely see myself there. A year from now, I'll be graduating next semester, and I'll be transferring in the early part of next year. So I just have a lot of great things happening, and every time, there's always a shift happening. I mean, it's just a part of life, and God moving you in a better direction and a new direction. It's definitely, sometimes it can be scary because the fear of failure is always in the back of your mind, but sometimes you have to be pushed outside of your comfort zone. Sometimes God has to push you outside of your comfort zone so that you can grow and learn. So that's what I'm learning as well.
Wow, that's truly amazing. I firmly believe that a lot of times, our failures are really just perceived failures that we are perceiving at that moment. And a lot of times is the only reason why we think there's a failure is because there's a lack of information that we don't really know that, God is trying to give to us. When we have more information about ourselves and more information about our future, what God is doing, we won't, just like the skepticism of failures leave. They leave out of our lives because really God is always doing the new. It's never a failure. It's just information. It's just knowledge. It's just a lesson. You don't ever get it wrong, because you're always right in God's eyes. And I just feel that way just about you. It's amazing. Our former President Barack Obama, he was raised by his mom, who became a single mother, when she had him. And if he would have believed what others were telling him, if he would have believed, if he wasn't worthy, he wouldn't have been the president of the United States, and he transformed the world just in his 8 years of presidency. So just your life right now has blessed me, and I know it's blessed a lot of our listeners and a lot of young people who were feeling like they were nothing, like they were not enough. And I feel like you just began to give us a different perspective of life, truly, in your life right now. So I really appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you're doing. My gosh, everyone, this is Nelson Lee Brown, author Nelson E. Brown, and who is the author of The Beauty in Us. And he has developed his first creation of The Beauty in Us, and pretty much is evolving into another book and another and another. God is truly using him. I'm so grateful and thankful for you, Nelson. Definitely. I got a question for you. What do you desire for young men to grasp what you're doing? Because I'm an entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur. Tell me about this statement. A lot of times when we think of entrepreneurship, we think about this big, huge business that we have to, it has to be this way starting off. But the fun and excitement is when watching it evolve and how God is moving it, from another point to another point. I began to see people in my life who were showing me different aspects of entrepreneurship, how to work with what was in your hands. A lot of people, they've seen somebody cut hair and they grasp to that. A lot of people see someone bake a cake and they grasp to that. A lot of people see someone, began to write a book, and then they began to do that. Tell me where was the part in your life where you saw what you wanted to do and you really began to get on fire for and began to dive into what is called to be an entrepreneur?
Well, I would like to start off by saying that, anybody can be an entrepreneur. Whenever you take your passions, your skills, and your talents, and when you transform them and you cultivate them into income-earning opportunities, that's when it becomes entrepreneurship, whether it's in cosmetology, whether it's in real estate, whether it's in writing, whether it's in mass communications or journalism. You can make a business out of anything, whether it's cleaning, catering. I mean, there are so many different types of businesses that you can make out of any career. You can make a business out of anything. So that's what I would like all of the listeners to understand, whether you're young or old. You can make a business out of anything with your passions, with your talents, and with your skills. You can work to, earn extra income, and that's when it becomes entrepreneurship. But I also want all of the younger men to know that, and all of the younger ladies as well, to know that, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be an entrepreneur, especially with our generation, with my generation. A lot of us are trying to adapt to more of an entrepreneurial mindset. A lot of us want to be entrepreneurs. A lot of us want to own our own businesses. And a lot of people my age, they don't want to work under people, and they want to just be their own boss, and there's nothing wrong with that. But, you have to be willing to, stay dedicated and to stay focused and to, work hard, because a lot of people can get frustrated, and I'm guilty of this, with the process. A lot of people fail to understand that success doesn't just happen overnight. You have to continue to trust God and to trust the process, and to just, sometimes you just have to fall in order to, appreciate, those great moments in your life and great moments in your career. And everything is not going to be smooth sailing. I mean, every journey for everyone is going to be tough, and it's going to have its bumps in the road. But that's how you learn, and that's how you grow. And I'm learning that early on, especially being the age that I am. And that's what I would like to let all of the listeners know, especially a lot of the young men and women who want to be entrepreneurs, who are innovators, and who want to be their own bosses. Just stay committed and stay dedicated, and just continue to work hard. And nobody can take your hard work away from you. When you work hard for your money, when you have your own stuff, you feel a lot better about that, and you cherish it more and you appreciate it more, as opposed to just somebody just giving something to you. So that's what I would like for them to know. So you can make a business out of anything. A business usually starts small, and when it kicks off, after you pass the 5-year mark, that's when you can open up another one, or decide, okay, when do I leave my day job? But you have to be able to work hard. You have to continue to work hard. So that's that in a nutshell, I'd say.
Oh my God, you truly have ministered to me right now, and I know you ministered to the studio audience. Oh my God, everyone, this is amazing author, Nelson E. Brown, and he just really showed you so many different aspects of God within you. And if you didn't know, now you know. Like truly, just what God is doing in your life, God is doing in all of our lives, and what he's doing in your future. And my gosh, you really, truly have totally transformed our perspective. It's very rare that we get someone your age with so much wisdom and, knowledge of being freedom. I believe that God is always continuously to involve us, to move us forward, and just to have your perspective. I mean, you truly have transformed just us right now. You truly blessed us, Nelson. I mean, I really am grateful for you. Definitely, I'm looking forward to having you again, when you come back with your other books. I, would love for you to come back on the Lekeisha Mosley Show. And I definitely actually would love to have you give you an opportunity to share our platform. We have so many events coming up in the future as well, too. And if you have some time available, we would love to have you tune in, because you come with such a different perspective, such a different word of wisdom, the boss of babes, I feel, that I can't even interpret. I mean, I can speak really good, but I'm speaking from my perspective as a woman, but you're coming with just such a young, innovative perspective that young people need to hear. My God, I believe God is using you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, and I thank you for that, and I'm definitely open to all of what you offered. So I will definitely continue to keep in touch and everything. And I thank you again for allowing me to share your platform. I want all of the listeners to know that I'm available on all social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. On Instagram and Twitter, you can follow me at Nelson E. Brown, and with Facebook and LinkedIn, Nelson Brown. I usually post things about all of my accomplishments, all of my upcoming events, and everything pertaining to my work. I'm definitely savvy about that. I'm in the process of setting up my website with my team. I'm definitely networking with, state officials and politicians, a lot of community leaders and activists. So I'm definitely looking forward to working with them. I have more events coming up for networking events for the people in the city of Baltimore and across Maryland and even outside of Maryland. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And I definitely see this, kick off, in the next decade by the time I'm 30. I want to hit the mainstream audience by the time I'm 25, between 25 and 30 with my work and what I do. So I pray on it all the time, and I continue to work at it.
Oh, wow. Well, I see it, and definitely God is truly doing some major things in your life, and he's using just your spirit of humility, just your spirit of hunger for him, really using that. A lot of times we want to take credit for ourselves. We want to take credit for what we do, and it's always God making Jesus famous. And you truly have the right perspective just to receive the success that's coming your way. Just to let you know that God is truly using you. God is truly transforming your life. And he's doing so many things behind the scenes for you, Nelson, that you visually can't see right now, but you will see. So I'm just thankful for you for spending some time on the Lekeisha Mosley Show this evening.
I thank you for having me, and I will definitely be back with my second book and with my other projects that I'm currently working on with my team. And I also thank my team and just everybody who supports my work, all of my readers, all of the people who have, supported me in my work. I definitely can't do all of this alone. No journey. You can't accomplish things alone. You can't achieve success. You can't reach a certain peak in success without the help of people who are in your corner and people who support your work. So I definitely appreciate all of the love and support I have from all of my readers and from my teams of people. So it's definitely been a blessing, and it's definitely been great. And I definitely have to sometimes, I have to applaud myself for my progress, and sometimes I'm learning how to, take time to enjoy my accomplishments, and instead of just moving on to the next thing, so that I can, celebrate my successes and the small successes, and so that I can, make room for bigger ones.
Oh, wow. Everyone, this is amazing author, award-winning author, Nelson E. Brown, who's truly a blessing, an amazing gentleman who is allowing God to move through his life and to change the airways through his knowledge and wisdom, being a young person, just letting God use him. Truly, truly. I truly, truly thank you, Nelson. Got a question. Do you have any last words, any shout outs that you want to give out in the airways to anyone out there?
Well, yes, I do have a few things I would like to say. A big shout out to the Newsom Awards this year. I definitely want to acknowledge the 2019 Newsom Gospel Music Awards. I thank the team for awarding me, giving me my first Author of the Year award. And I say that because, this is my first award. That was my first show, and that's definitely my first time with my work being acknowledged on a public platform as such. One of the most prestigious award shows, and I definitely enjoyed my first show. And you can never win your first award again from any association or for whatever you do, with whatever you do. So I definitely thank the Newsom Gospel Music Awards team. I also, again, I thank my mom. I thank the Project Spark Success team at the Community College of Baltimore County for helping me plan my events. I thank all of the people, all of my contacts, all of the people I've been able to network with, all of my clients, all of the entrepreneurs, the innovators, a lot of the businessmen and women that I've been able to network with. I also want to thank, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for making all of this possible for all of us. And, this is not just about me. This is about, furthering the kingdom of God through my work, and this is about working from the inside out in order to fulfill my dreams and to expand the kingdom of God and to do God's assignment. So that's what it's ultimately about. And again, I'm available on all social media platforms, so Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. On Instagram and Twitter, I'm available at Nelson E. Brown, and with Facebook and LinkedIn, Nelson Brown. So that's all I have to say in a nutshell.
Wow. Well, that was amazing. Truly, definitely I'm looking forward to all of your projects moving forward. And definitely thank you so much for accepting to come back on the Lekeisha Mosley Show. Truly, God is doing amazing things in your life, and we definitely want to be a part of it for sure, Nelson. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Amen, amen. Well, everyone, I am so thankful for Nelson Brown for gracing us with his presence on the Lekeisha Mosley Show. We're going to transition to the last segment of the show, and it's called Lekeisha's Love Letter of Healing, Encouragement, and Empowerment. And we're going to focus on the scripture in Psalms chapter 16, 7 through 9. And it's going to be, I bless the Lord with who gives me counsel in the night. Also my heart instructs me. I have set the Lord always before me, because he is at my right hand. I shall not be shaken. Therefore my heart is glad, and my whole being rejoices. My flesh always dwells secure. Oh, wow. I hope this passage of scripture blessed you. I mean, David truly was just really rejoicing and acknowledging God for who he is. I mean, truly giving us the perspective of understanding we have confidence within God. When we let him lead us, when we put him before us, we always win. We always receive that supernatural abundance in everything that we do, everything that we touch, everything that we work towards. And when we truly acknowledge that understand that we don't have to have all the keys within our human body. All we need to do is give what's in our hands currently, and God is going to double it, triple it, quadruple it. He's going to make it bigger than what you have ever asked or think. You know, within the scriptures, you've seen it. You've seen just, the small passages, small amounts that were given to God, and how they totally multiplied within seconds within the lives of God's people. And that's just an assurance to you to understand, if you just turn his way and you walk your path with him, he is for surely going to blow your mind on how good he is within your life. I hope that encouraged you. I totally love you. Thank you so much for transitioning with me in this segment and supporting me on Lekeisha Mosley Show. Definitely looking forward to seeing you September 21st on my first conference, Free Yourself. And it's a conference that's so innovative. It's going to bless you. It's going to be so many like-minded people that are going to be there, men and women that are going to be talking about their different experiences that they received over the years and information they received that really provided healing within their lives, and they're willing to share it with you that's going to provide healing in your lives. Definitely make sure you come out and join us. It's going to be a blessed evening on that Saturday the 21st. Definitely make sure you tune in to Jerry Works Live. He's going to give you all the details on the day of the conference, and I look forward to seeing everybody. You guys, make sure you have a blessed evening. Make sure you enjoy yourself this evening, and make sure you always understand, remember, in all you do, lead with confidence, understanding, and love always. Have a good night.
You want to talk about it? Let's talk. You want to speak about it? Let's speak. We're going to spread this encouragement from the church to the street. The Lekeisha Mosley Show. The Lekeisha Mosley Show. The Lekeisha
Worldwide Podcast.